Hello guys of the CRAA-Nation, this is Sean here, and today we're going to talk about Injustice 2 and whether or not it's actually any good.
Are you doing a CRAA-cast without me?
What?
Are you doing a CRAA-cast without me?
No.
You are, aren't you?
Okay, fine, get in here. So, welcome back guys, this is Sean and Dave here, and
Hello.
Today we're going to talk about whether Injustice 2 is as good as people says it is.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes. So, I thought we could start things off by talking about the actual mechanics of the game, how they compare to the standards that people have been putting it up against, and of course Mortal Kombat X, and of course the previous Injustice game.
Yes. Right, before we get into anything, let's just make a solid disclaimer right now. We don't hate the game.
No, we actually quite enjoy the game.
Anyone says we don't hate the game, we do actually really enjoy it. But we're saying, is it better or as good as people have been saying? That is the big thing.
Yes.
Is it as good as everyone is saying?
And that's the key point here we need to get across. Is it just fanboy hype? Or are people being blind to their own little boy? Or is it a case of it is actually as good as people say it is?
Also, we won't be talking about stuff like the DLC roster and all that jazz, because come on, can't please everybody. No one, no matter what. We could have every character and someone will go, where the fuck is Condiment King?
Yeah, we're gonna discuss the game, how it's coming out in vanilla format.
Indeed.
Okay, so start things off with the actual fighting mechanics themselves. I'll let you start this one off, Dave, because you are more of the actual fighting gameplay than I am.
Yeah, so with the Injustice 2 mechanics, they do basically take off the same mechanics as Injustice 1. However, they are a bit faster. They're faster than Injustice 1, but hell of a lot slower than MKX. MKX's fighting system mechanics felt so polished, felt so clean. Doing things like jumps and doing special moves, it just flowed, it just felt instant. Now with Injustice 2, that isn't the case.
No, I will say, I'm not an avid or huge fighting game player, but I put Gods Among Us in the other day, just to have a bit of a, throwback. Mm-hmm. And my word, it felt so fucking slow.
Oh yeah, like in Injustice 2, when I went from MKX to training to get used to Injustice 2 by going back to Injustice 1, the speed dip went straight. I felt like I was on top of a building, went and slapped right back to the floor, and had to start my way over.
It genuinely felt like we had a modifier active.
Yeah, when we got into Injustice 2, it's a hell of a lot fast, but it's not as responsive. No. Countless times I have gone for special moves that I know I would hit in Injustice 1. So things like Bane, because I play Bane a lot. I go for Bane's command throw, down, back, forward 3. He would always do it on Injustice 1.
Certainly.
Go to this.
I mean, that video the other day, Dave, did you capture that on by any chance? Well, when you were in the practice match? And you saw the input. You were in practice, so you saw my input.
Yes,
and
yeah.
It just... So you can do correct inputs. You can do back, forward, triangle, or back, forward 2. And your character will jump.
That is the main thing. Like, the directional inputs aren't... It's not problematic for the console. That's the one thing. It's not the console, because it works on Injustice 1 and it works on NKX. But for Injustice 2, you can try and jump forward or jump backwards, and you'll jump directly up and just just not go anywhere. You're just jumping upwards. You go for a special move, a back forward or down back forward, and
something
you'll
else will
jump.
completely happen. Yeah. I mean, the amount of times that one of my Green Lantern combos has been botched because as they've come back, I'll bounce them away, and as they're coming back to me, I'll go to set the wall up, and my character will actually just make a lantern explode on the other side of the screen.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the same with me. But like, I've had countless moments where I've gone for a Bane bomb on someone just getting up, and I'll just jump and do a jump up 3. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I didn't do that.
No.
So
I would say Injustice 2's input system, although a lot faster than the first game, it does have flaws.
yeah, I mean, I would say it's not as good as MKX's system, especially when you've got things, and we're not going now. Just to say, I'm not going on about cheapness or cheap levels of how characters are. I'm not one of these guys who wants Deadshot nerfed to the ground because he can shoot a bullet. There are ways to get around it, but
Exactly.
the one way that you can get around it is doing a evasive roll, which in this game is for people who don't know and you're just looking to try and find a review, which this is kind of a mix of review and rant. Your evasive roll is a dash forward, then you meter burn it.
You shouldn't have to dash.
The problem is you have to dash. Instead of just like being instant, like in say MK, where you could do a dash and meter burn to do a sprint, and it'd be very quick, very very instant. You have to do it mid dash, and it's like only the roll side is in vulnerability.
Evasive.
So the dash and the stop, you're easy to be hit, and the problem is when you dash,
You're upright.
you're upright and you're vulnerable for a split until you actually meter burn it, and it takes a while for that roll to come out. I would say it takes about roughly 1 to 2 seconds for you to press that. That's how I feel. It takes your dash has to do a bit of the animation, then you roll, and in that bit of animation, a dead shot will hit you with his standard bullet. And there lies the problem. It's too slow. It's the thing that should be instant. It's double dash, meter burn. At the same time, you do a roll. You don't dash, you just do a roll. That's the thing I think they need to implement with that.
So first point means Injustice 2 is not as good as everyone says it is.
Straight away. But that would be a very short video.
That'd be yeah. So now we're going to talk about a different aspect.
Before we do anything, let's first of all talk about the AI. Before I want to do anything, I want to talk about the AI, because we've been having.
Well, they've improved on it slightly.
They've improved on it, but when it gets to certain difficulties, holy hell, is it? It's satisfying, but sometimes it is. I hate to say the word, but it's completely cheap. The amount of input reading you get.
Yeah. The input reading, it's fake difficulty. It's just like Hyper Armor. I mean, when you're fighting a Black Adam with max AI and Hyper Armor as a guild boss, no one's gonna fucking do that.
No, well, we'll get onto that when we get onto the guild system.
Yes. I think next it's. You know what? Actually, Dave, let's add another topic. Let's talk about single player campaign this time around.
What, you mean like the story mode?
Yes.
Okay, well, without giving too much away about the story mode, because the thing is, the story mode itself, you can't really fault it. It's an Everrealm story mode. It's great cutscenes.
Enjoyable.
It's a great enjoyable cutscenes with multiple endings, one of which I still haven't managed to do. So don't talk about the Batman ending, Sean, because I still haven't got that. But outside of that, you know, The story, it's a good cinematic story, and you get to use your fighting game mechanics and learn the characters.
Oh, yeah, I loved it. I could happily watch, without the fighting game aspect, I could happily watch the Injustice 2 cinematic and story mode.
Oh yeah,
as its own movie.
It's a shame that the Injustice movies could be deemed better than some of the stuff Hollywood are bringing out.
Yeah. So, second point, it goes to Injustice 2 is as good as people say. So they're currently 1-1.
Okay.
So that brings us to our third topic.
And that is online.
Multiplayer online.
Mm-hmm.
What's your first initial thoughts?
So far, I would say that the online connectivity is pretty damn good. But this is all personal things, because it can affect some players differently depending on ping, and we all know that. But so far, like, I've had very little to no true latency issues. There's been a few here and there, but nothing too dramatic. There was that one guy who you could clearly tell was doing something, because it was a situation where you were on top for the majority, and when it was the sign of okay, the guy's really struggling against me, then all of a sudden the network connection goes completely ass. You can't do anything, and he's getting back up to ending up beating you, where he wasn't doing that before, but then he now beat you because all of a sudden this huge latency spike lasted for the rest of the game. That's suspect. But
yeah, but that you get that in any environment. That's not the game's fault.
That's not the game's fault. That's the people. But you can't chuck up with that. So far,
I will say the matchmaking system could do with a bit of work. When I click ranked matches, and I'm by no means a great fighting game player. I'm okay, I can get combos off, but my reaction times aren't the best.
No, they aren't.
No. So I'm not a great, I will admit that. But as a not a great player, I would expect to be put up against other not so great players.
Yeah.
There are times when the ranking system, the ranked matches system, has pitted me against people who are 300 to 10.
Yeah.
And sometimes against that, it doesn't even give me the option to accept or decline. It just throws me in with them.
Yeah. The downside with ranked matches, and this is not just an Injustice thing. This is a NetherRealm Studios thing. There is no rank. You know, in other games like Killer Instinct, Tekken, Street Fighter, they have ranks. They actually have proper ranks. You start from the bottom, you make your way up. You fight people on. Say we'll go to like a colour standards, like bronze to platinum. You start off at bronze. You make your way up to platinum at the end. That is in things like Killer Instinct, Tekken, Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom. Any of those fighting games, that's already there.
But do you know what baffles me most about it, Dave? They have a ranking system on the mobile app.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. They have.
Why have it on the mobile app and not put it in the actual game itself?
This is a thing we've been kind of asking for since MK9, in all fairness. So I don't know why it's never being implemented, but it's something that NetherRealm really does need to address, because it's annoying to be fresh. It's got to be one of those horrible things to be fresh into a game, like you are, Sean, because you said you're not a big fighting game player. You're brand new to more or less getting into the true competitive side. You go in, you've only had a few wins, and you put up against someone who's had 1,000 games, and a good 1,000 of those games are majority wins. That is and then you just get destroyed. That is very disheartening, and that's the problem with that. You're playing fighting games. You need to get to know where you are. You can't go off against start off against Sonic Fox. You've got to build your way up to go against Sonic Fox. Those type of people, Sonic Fox, Biohazard, anyone like that, the proper competitive ranked pros. You're not going to be that level, but you could face one of those if they decided to go online, because that would put you in there. And that's a big
thing
issue.
Is, what I would say with that though, that is it. Although it's a flaw, I wouldn't say it's a fault of the game. That's a fault of the studio.
Yeah, I agree though. That's a big fault of the studio for that. But something that can be implemented. Maybe not this game. Might be a bit too late to get that system brought in for this game. But you never know, because they did change things like with the netcode and MKX to MKXL, so you never know. That could be changed.
Until we see further results, I would leave that score at undecided. Is your mic okay? Is it falling down?
Something happened. It's fine.
Okay, so we've discussed the online features, we've discussed the single-player campaign, and we've discussed the imports. I think now it's time to talk about the big one, probably the most controversial aspect, the newest thing into it, which would be, in fact, two newest things into it, guild and gear. Let's start off with the guild system. So, how do you think the guild system has worked so far, Dave?
Good on paper, bad execution.
Yes. This one doesn't need much of a discussion. But what I've noticed is if you do not join a public guild that is full to the brim of people, it is not going to go anywhere. They've implemented the challenges are too hard. If you want to set up a guild with you and your friends, you want to play with your friends, remember, if you and your friends are all together in a guild and there's only 6 of you, for example, that's still more than what we've got, but still six of you, you want to play together, yet you've got to beat a boss 50 times.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that with 6 people.
Plus, one of the other things, like I say again, even if you had 6 people, officially that's not really a guild, because the minimum requirement to get the guild bonuses is 10.
Yeah.
So where it's like us, where we decided to make something just for our group and call it the CRAA-Nation just for the laugh, and we've actually had, and it was just me, Sean, and Jay, and we were just going to do that, just the 3 of us. We've had to let people in our guild just to get things going. Now we go and try do some guild quests as many times as possible. But yeah, the bosses.
I mean, I don't mind implementing. No, some aren't. But you do. For example, when they provide a Black Adam boss that's got one of his moves swapped out with an ability with a Thunder Strike from above that spams it, an input read, so the moment you come out of blocking stance, he knows to use it, and it just not that no. But the major thing is you need the guild system. You're right, Dave, was good on paper, but they needed to bring it down with the execution. You know, for example, rather than having 10 people before the perks start, make it 5 people.
Yeah.
You know, rather than having to beat a boss 50 times, let us have to beat him 20.
Or even that, like, because the thing is, they have a boss that you have to. You can beat your own, but it will just take a while, or you can all group together and beat them, and that's how it should work. I mean, when we actually done it, where it was the 3 of us against that Black Adam, we had some times, and I nearly beat that Black Adam on my own. I was so close to getting him down. He was in critical, and I know that if when we done it again, we actually did it, because one of us was able to get him, would have been able to get him to critical, and then it was just easy for us, Jay, to finish it off. I mean, okay, we got him down from his first health bar, and then, from the first half of his health, and near enough the second half of his health, and then it's just Jay to finish it off. Unfortunately, Jay didn't finish it off, but so insert F-sake Jay there. But, you know, we actually had a chance.
So the guild system, sorry to say, guys, not as good as people say it is.
Definitely not.
No.
But,
okay, so this brings us on now to our final topic, which would be the gear system. Now, part of the gear system, we are going to talk about RNG. Now, RNG is something me and Dave aren't that big of a fan of. Mainly because we've never been very lucky with RNG. RNG treats us awfully. But RNG, on top of RNG, is not something we like. You know, when you've got a roster full of 20 odd characters and you want to have 3 or 4 characters to get the gear for, you go to the multiverse and it's random epic gear and you play through and you get random epic gear, and what do you get? You get a tail for cheetah.
And you don't play cheetah, just so we don't play cheetah. We have no intention of playing cheetah. We get cheetah.
Yeah, it should be. I don't mind RNGs to an extent. You know, it's a gambling thing. You know, people get. I get it. I really do. But when it's random epic gear, it should be random epic gear for the character that you choose to beat it with.
Yeah. Not just that, especially here's the thing about RNG, and we'll go into this. The RNG on top of RNG aspect is one of the worst things about this game. A company, yes. Let's just go with this. Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Yes, it's a laugh. People will laugh at it as a fighting game because it's not. But people in the first one raged and hated Dimps because they put this thing in of RNG inside of RNG inside of RNG.
Yeah, I mean, let's think about it. Let's actually do the math here, Dave.
Before we do, let's go with the description of the Xenoverse RNG. So Xenoverse RNG, you did like say a multiverse mission. Now you had a.
So 1 second. Sorry, continue.
I'll just do it. So let's talk with the Xenoverse side of it. So in Xenoverse, you had this moment where you could do, say, a multiverse mission. Now, yes. In that multiverse mission, you had to do objectives. To do those,
yes.
These objectives would give you a chance for
Xenoverse 1, by the way, guys.
This is Xenoverse 1. In Xenoverse 1, you had a chance after doing all those objectives to get the ultimate finish, which is the big ending to that mission.
Yes.
So that was it. You had a percentage chance to do that, and in that percentage chance, you could get a percentage to get an item that was from that mission,
or a Hercule badge.
And inside that, you didn't know which you were going to get. So I think the main one was trying to get Spirit Sword for Vegito. You had to get the ultimate finish and then get the item from the ultimate finish. So that means you had a 1 in 3 chance to get this item because it was tied with another ultimate item, and then you had to do the ultimate finishes as well. It became to a point where it was tedious, and it became to a point where we didn't actually want to play the game anymore.
I mean, let's think about it this way. So, we'll use one of my cards. At the moment, to this day, so far, I've still not had, at any point, epic Batman leggings. I haven't. So, I want epic Batman leggings, okay? So, let's say I want I open a gold box. I have a couple of gold boxes. I have 10 gold boxes, and just for laughs, let's say I'm guaranteed and I get at least 1 epic in each gold box. Okay? I get 1 epic, so that's 4 items. So I want a Batman epic legs. So first off, I need to be guaranteed the epic. So let's say that's 4. So that's a 1 in 4 chance. Okay. But then it's a 1 in 4 chance. But then I also need to make sure that I actually get, the legs. So that's the head, the shoulder, the chest, the arms,
And the belt.
Specialise in the legs and the belt. So that's a 1 in 20 chance. Okay, odds aren't so bad here. Oh, hang on, 1 second. It's an epic, which means it could be any character. How many characters are there, Dave? Is it 23?
I think it's actually roughly to be 29 to 30, isn't it?
Okay, so call it 30. Round it off.
Yeah, go to 30.
Oh crap! My chances have gone to 600. 1 in 600.
Just for references, that is about the same chance you have for getting a shiny in Pokemon with a shiny charm.
Yeah. So the chances of me getting Epic Batman leggings are the same chances of me getting a shiny Pokemon with a shiny charm in the Pokemon franchise. I am better off farming Magikarps than I am trying to get Batman legs.
Exactly. And don't forget, Sean, that's without the DLC characters.
That's without the DLC characters, and that's assuming I get an epic in the gold boxes. There's still the chance. You still got to add the chance that you're gonna get gold boxes, and you've still got to add the RNG in that you're going to get an epic.
Yeah, so like with that, you're literally hiding to nothing just on RNG alone. It is so luck based, and you can be so unlucky. You could like
how the hell I've got 5 epic Green Lantern chests. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, just so you guys know, in the light of all this, I've got a Hope Green Lantern chest, the Will one, obviously, the actual set piece one, Compassion, Fear, and Life.
Yeah, the thing is, I've got all them.
How the hell I've done that? I don't know.
The thing is, I've got all them, near enough all them as well, and I don't play Green Lantern.
No.
It's like Bastion all over again.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry to say, guys, on the point of gear
with RNG,
and with the RNG aspect, I'm sorry to say, Injustice 2 is not as good as people say it is.
And again, the second aspect of the gear itself is the stats and the abilities.
Yeah.
And I have a big problem with this, and I think we do. This is a fighting game. Stats really don't belong. I've been on this point since the beginning, and people can say, "Oh, but you don't play gear in ranked matches or tournament modes." That's fine. I don't want to play stats, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. But I love the abilities. Some of the abilities are so good that they're better that they make the characters viable. It's like a balance to characters.
Yeah.
I
don't think abilities should be left out when you play ranked.
No. Like here's something now. We've got I didn't want to bring in any DLC characters, but since he's brand new and he's fresh, let's talk. I'll bring in Red Hood. Red Hood himself, his gameplay is pretty weak. The character himself is pretty weak. I remember seeing the trailer, and all the cool things that I liked and actually made me want to play the character are locked behind the abilities. His cool attack where he tries to shoot you, can't shoot you, so throws the gun at you, is an ability. Why?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, here's one for you. The lunge forward. I got the ability where he actually grabs you and it puts an explosive on you.
And gives a pop up.
On
Meter.
I managed to get a combo that does 400 damage with 1 meter burn over the space of about 4 inputs.
Yeah, like again, with that, though, you've got to be careful with the percentages against because it's gear. Again, gear affects your practice mode.
Yeah.
So you've got to check depending on the levels. But in regards to that, yeah, probably that that lunge that augmented meter burn is way better than the one he already has, and it's something I felt he needs. So part of me wants to have the abilities on, and it's kind of a step back, taking out like you're in ranked. Gear doesn't work, but abilities don't work. Taking the abilities off the characters is like removing the variation system in MKX. Yes, you can say it's unbalanced because they have so many abilities, but again, that's the same thing with MKX. Each variation had different abilities, and so you had to learn a matchup for 3 characters. Yeah. There's only 2. It's not all these abilities are viable, but some of them are. So you're going to get to a point where people are going to go, okay, these abilities are the best for this character, and then you're going to see those characters having those abilities. That's how the game works. But we're not allowed to experiment and test and see which one of these abilities are great, because they don't matter in a tournament or online competitive scene. They're only
all the extra input that they've put in.
It's
wasted.
Pointless. It's pointless because all you're going to do, you're going to have to go and play player battles. And and here's the thing, I don't like stats. So I go into player battles. I don't want to play with
and you turn them off.
Stats. So we play competitive and never get to actually see
So the whole
those.
point of gear is literally just to look pretty.
Which, if you're going to do that, why do you need stats in the first place?
Exactly. So we're sorry to say, guys, Injustice 2 on that point, not as good as everyone says it is.
No. And
so I think that makes the final score. I think it's 2-1 because one of them was undecided. So unfortunately, it's 2-1.
Yeah. It's just.
So conclusion.
It's not as good as people say they are.
No. Don't get us wrong, guys. We love the game. We do.
Yeah. We just want. The thing is, like I said, I want us to fix some of these issues. Like RNG, it's not going to be something they can just fix. Hell, the RNG aspect needs to be gone if you're going to do that, because look at Xenoverse 2. That's what they did. They had to just remove RNG near enough altogether to keep players satisfied and wanting to come back.
Exactly. You've got to feel a sense of reward.
And the ability system, if they were going to do it, they need to make it as a separate entity. That can be done. That can be patched in. But
exactly. Abilities now stay when playing ranked matches.
Yeah.
But however, we just hope that NetherRealm hear our thoughts and put these patches into future games or even future patches for this game.
Yep. So, and hopefully if we can do this, this is where you guys come in. We need you to share this. Share this onto like the bigger guys. Let them know about the video. Maybe they can start talking about things. Get Boone to know. Get Tyler to know. Get Derek to know. Get these to their Twitter accounts. Do that, and you can also help us. And in the infamous words of myself,
get out there, share, do what you want.
Yeah. But most of all, try and help us get our own thoughts out there by subscribing and liking
pressing
our
little bell thingy.
Follow the CRAA-Nation on whatever social media stuff we have. Do we have social media, Sean?
We do. It's in Twitter, but it's in our channel banner. You can click it and follow it there.
There we go.
Right, and that's been us, guys. Here, that's our conclusion. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comments. We'd actually love to hear them. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us?
Do you want us to kill ourselves? We want to know all these things.
Exactly. And may the peace out, may the power protect you.
Always.
God. Ready?